Hey guys, it's Lee here again. So, the last few months, I guess, I've been thinking about upgrading my PC a little bit for gaming, obviously. So I'll give you a quick run over of my current spec in case you don't know it. There's a link in the description. I think back at the start of this year, I did a video. I think it was for my 500 subscriber milestone. I basically walked you through my entire setup. So go check that out if you want. There'll be a link. There's a link in the description if I can talk properly off that. But I'll quickly go over my current specification now. It has changed a little bit since that video. So my processor is an Intel i5 2500K. And that is running at 3.3 gigahertz. It's not overclocked at the minute. I did used to run the Intel's on board overclocking system, but I don't run that at the minute. I just find it's better without. At the minute, I've got 16 gigabyte of Corsair Vengeance memory. I doubled that a few months ago. That was the last thing I upgraded. It used to be 8 in the video. It's now 16. I use more memory intensive programs at the minute, so I upgraded it. The motherboard is an Asus P87Z68V, and it's an okay motherboard. It's what came with my computer. That's probably one of the main things I'm going to think about upgrading. I'll talk more about that later in the video. The graphics card is an Asus GeForce GTX 580, and that's 1.5 gigabytes of video memory. And I like that card actually. I probably may not upgrade that just yet. I'll see what it's like with the new stuff, but I like that card a lot. It's very good. I have got a 500 gigabyte hard drive for the operating system, and that's just a normal drive. It's not solid state or nothing. I then have a 1000 gigabyte Western Digital Caviar Black hard drive, and that's basically just for games. So any Steam games, Origin games, Uplay stuff, I'll save it on that hard drive. It just frees up more room on my main drive for the system files and for programs. I then have a 240 gigabyte Corsair solid state drive. I use this mainly for recording games recording gameplay from DxTory, from Fraps, from my Elgato if I ever use it, which I haven't used in a long time. But I basically use that because it's fast to save stuff onto, because recording, especially computer games with DxTory, you need a fast hard drive to save it onto. It improves performance when you're playing the game, so that's why I use that. Then I have a FireWire card, and I can't remember the brand or the model number, but I'll throw a link in there somewhere if I find it out. I use that for my audio interface. I use a PreSonus Fire Studio project, and again, I rarely use this anymore, but it's FireWire. It's a really good audio interface. It's got a really good preamp on it, and it's nice for recording vocals, drums, guitar, anything like that. I used to use it for commentaries, but I just find that the Blue Yeti at the minute, which I'm using for this, is a lot easier for recording commentaries. Moving on, I have a Corsair GS800 PSU. That's 800 watts, obviously. I upgraded that maybe 5 months ago, I guess. I don't know when I upgraded that. I think it's maybe longer ago. Maybe at the start of the year. I think it's in that video too. And then lastly, I think that's everything. The case is a Zalman Z9 Plus, and I like that case as well. It's got a nice little fan speed controls on the front, and it's got a temperature gauge, which is quite nice. And that's about it. Then moving on to, I guess, peripherals that I use. I use a Logitech G110 keyboard, and I like this keyboard. It's just a normal keyboard. It's not that expensive. It's got nice backlit keys. It's got 12 gaming keys on the side. You can assign macros, and there's media keys and stuff like that. It's a nice keyboard. Just overall, it's very affordable, and it's nice as a starting point. My mouse is a Logitech G500, and again, I like this mouse. You can add weights to it. It's a nice feel. There's got a couple of buttons on the side which I like to use. So if you don't know this mouse, you can look it up. There's 3 extra buttons on the side. Commonly, I think as default, you'd use these as back and forward in a browser, or if you're opening a web page. And the middle button, I'm not sure what it's default at. I think it might be stop or play for media. But basically, I use the middle button for R. I set that to R, so that's reload in almost all games. The front button, it depends on the game. Most games I set the front button to the melee attack, like in Battlefield 4 at the moment. I think that's at melee. And then the back button, and it usually depends as well. The back button is usually my record button for DxxLEE, so I usually leave that free. I don't set that up, although at the minute for Battlefield 4 I have that set to V, which is, I think, toggles optics or something like that. In Battlefield 4 sets the I can't remember I don't know what it is. It sets something for the scopes in Battlefield 4, so that's basically the way I've got that set up. I like that mouse a lot. I think that's about everything. I use an Astro A40 headset, and I think that's about everything you'd need to know. So yeah, I'll move on to the stuff that I'm thinking about upgrading to. I guess this is kind of just thinking out of the off the top of my head. Stuff that I've seen. I haven't done a lot of research on some of this stuff, so I'm hoping that you guys can give me some suggestions on things to upgrade to. The stuff I've kind of picked, it's not the most expensive things, but they're kind of the most popular, and they kind of are the most expensive, I guess. But I'm hoping you guys can suggest me some alternatives that are cheaper and just as good. So we'll start off with the CPU. The CPU I'd like to upgrade to is the Intel i7 4770K, and that's the new LGA 1150 socket, the Haswell socket. I think that's the latest one, the 4th generation of Intel. So I'd like to upgrade to that. And there's really not much more to say about that. That's a pretty good CPU. I've looked at a few benchmarks and stuff for things like that, and it comes out pretty good. So that's what I'd like to upgrade to. It would be a big improvement from my i5 2nd generation, I think that is, that I'm using. So the motherboard, this is where I'm kind of lost at the minute. The motherboard is kind of, there's so many motherboards and they're kind of hard to compare, I guess. At least for me, I don't have much knowledge on them, and I'd like to, I guess, get a second opinion on what to get. So the one I've picked here on my list is the Asus Z87 Sabertooth. So the Sabertooth, it's a pretty cool looking board. It's all like thermal coated with stuff, and it looks pretty cool, and it's got most of the features that I need. Basically all I need is, you know, the normal stuff. I need a PCI Express 3.0 or 3.0, sorry. I need space for a FireWire card. I need lots of USBs as possible, and that's really it. I need that, and obviously all the basic stuff. So yeah, I'll come back to that in a minute. I'd like to get some more advice on what kind of motherboard to get, because the Sabertooth, it's quite expensive. I think it's £200 at the minute, and that's kind of expensive for a motherboard. In my opinion, there's cheaper ones, but I don't really know how to compare them properly, if they're as good. I like Asus. I'm using Asus at the minute, as I said before, and I'm a fan of Asus. I think their products are good. They make a lot of good stuff. Their software is really nice to use, and it's really user friendly, so I really like Asus. The graphics card, as I said, I have the 580, and I'm not entirely certain that I want to change it yet. The one I'm looking at is the GTX 770, and probably it's expensive again. It's, I think, maybe £300 to £400, and this is probably the last thing I'd upgrade. I'm hoping the 580, if I upgrade the first two things, the CPU and the motherboard, I'm hoping the graphics card will be alright for another while. I don't really want to spend all the money at once on one thing, but the CPU and the motherboard, I kind of have to buy both together, because the CPU is the new socket and I'll need a new motherboard to run it, so I just kind of have to buy those two things at once. I'm hoping, as I said, the graphics card, I hope it's okay at the 580. If it's not, if I find my games are still struggling to play well, then I will maybe think about upgrading it, but that's what I'm thinking at the minute. As for what variant, there's so many to choose from, so again, I'd want some advice. There's the EVGA, MSI, Asus again, Gigabyte. Out of the four, I probably choose Asus, because that's what I'm using at the minute. I like it, it's a really good card. And yeah, not really much more to say about that. Again, advice would be appreciated. I'm not looking for the most expensive thing. I'm kind of want something that'll be reliable, that's good for performance, and affordable, I guess. So yeah, next thing is we're kind of venturing out of the hardware side now, the more, I guess, peripherals and stuff. So this is the case. So I'm thinking about changing the case as well, and the reason behind that is one of the things I would like to buy is a water cooling system or a new fan system. The one I'm looking at is the Corsair Hydro H110, and basically that's a cooling system. The problem with that, with my case at the minute, is it has a dual fan, and my case doesn't support a dual fan, so I'm looking to upgrade to a case that does. The case I'm looking at is a Corsair 650D. So I've heard the good things of this case. I've looked up a couple of reviews and videos, and I like how it looks. I like the style of it. It looks really easy to use. I like how you open the case, and it just looks like a nice spacious case with a lot of good features, and there's plenty of room for the Geofan off the Hydro. They're obviously the same brand, so they're going to fit perfectly. And yeah, that's really the reason behind that. Again, that's kind of expensive. I think it's maybe £110. But, you know, I think it's probably going to be worth it in the end, because it'll keep the CPU cool and it'll keep everything running smoothly. So what else can I talk about? I guess I'm kind of trying to work out what's the best things to buy first. I was kind of thinking today that the case would be the best thing to buy first, and then I can build up from that. I obviously kind of need to buy the CPU and the motherboard at the same time, because I need one basically to run the other, because the new Intel socket won't fit my current motherboard, and yeah, I kind of need the new motherboard with that socket to work. The graphics card I'll probably leave to the very end, as I said. So I think maybe the case first and work up from that. Maybe get the motherboard, then the CPU, then maybe the cooling system, and I think that would probably be a good point then to kind of test the PC on games, see how it plays. Because yeah, as a PC gamer now, I want the best quality I can get in games. That's why I play PC gaming. It's to get the better quality, the better experience playing the games. It just sounds so much better. The game sounds awesome. Games like Battlefield 4 or Armor 3, they just look beautiful. And that's not even playing them on anywhere near max settings at the minute. The minute I play most games on around high, I guess some games high to ultra settings. Battlefield 4, I'm kind of in the middle between it. And I'd love to play it at max settings to witness the game and all its beauty. And yeah, I really think I need to upgrade my PC to get that service. Because obviously as a YouTuber I'm recording stuff, I need a good PC to record with at the same time, because even if I can play a game maxed out, now I could probably play Battlefield 4 at max settings with a little bit of lag, a little bit of fluctuation on the FPS, but when recording with DxxLEE or Fraps, you typically would lose around 10 to 20 frames per second, and if you're only getting around 40 to begin with, then you're dropping to maybe 20 to 30, and that's kind of not really nice to play at that. I personally don't like playing under 30 frames, because it starts to, you can really see it if you get under 30. It's hard to see anything over 30 unless your vision is really tuned to high FPS, but some people are, and I personally don't notice over 30 very much, but that's not to say I don't like playing at 60 frames per second, because it really was be smooth at that. But yeah, I would really never go back to console gaming full time. I was thinking about getting an Xbox One. I guess I was thinking about it, I was looking at it, looks kind of cool, but really I don't think I would want it for gaming that much, which sounds stupid, I know, but really all I use my Xbox 360 for now at the minute is Netflix. And you know, I love it for Netflix. Netflix is great. I think the Xbox, it works really well on it, and that's really all I use my Xbox for. I use it for YouTube sometimes to listen to music, and yeah, that's really all I use my Xbox for. I haven't played a game on Xbox in so long. I just do everything on PC. It's easier for me. I prefer how to download stuff on PC, how simple it is on Steam or on Origin. I like how easy it is to record games. All I need is DxTory. DxTory records my mic, records my gameplay. It records everything perfectly for me. And it's just so much easier, in my opinion, to do PC gaming compared to console gaming. And yeah, I would never go back. I just love PC gaming a lot. And yeah, as a PC gamer, the quality is there, and console gaming just doesn't compare to the quality at all. But yeah, that's probably everything I want to talk about in this video. So as I said, leave suggestions in the comments below of probably the main thing I need advice with is the motherboard, and I'd like to see some more alternatives to the Sabertooth, as it is kind of the most expensive one in my price range. I wouldn't want to go much more expensive than £200, and ideally I'd like to spend a lot less than that for something just as good. And yeah, just leave your suggestions on what you think I should get. Anything different, anything completely different, just leave your suggestions. And yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed me rambling on about my computer. And yeah, if you're new here, why not subscribe? I'll be doing more commentaries like this in the future. I don't normally do videos like this, just normal commentary videos. I normally do Let's Play videos. I find I'm more comfortable doing those. And I'm doing The Walking Dead at the minute. That'll be up in the next few days, the next few parts. And yeah, hope you enjoyed, guys, and I'll see you next time.